Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Harsh Singh and in this video we shall discuss current affairs for 20th April 2022. And let's begin. Hello and welcome to all the participants who are participating online. Bhavani, Kriti, Ashish, Hima, Kim, Amlan, all of you writing good answers. 3 questions have been provided in the online segment right now and we will be discussing each of them in the coming topics. This is the current affairs for 20th April 2022. Today's quote for all of us: words can inspire, thoughts can provoke, but only actions truly bring you closer to your dreams. Is it not true? Every time we keep dreaming of doing something and that produces some spark, but then fire is produced only with our actions and repeated actions every day, day in and day out, and there is a joy in monotonity. Every work will require us to be punctual towards what we do, and deep-rooted inspiration must be there to be able to carry out a thing like this. That is why actions are the one which make us do something that we truly want to do, and rest of it, the other things could be possibly something that make us begin it, but then finishing it is only dependent on the kind of inspiration that we carry and the actions that we carry. So actions are the determinants. If you like this initiative, share some love through likes, comments and shares. Let's begin. We will cover in this particular segment fertilizer prices going high in the news today, and some basic details about what is the issue and what are the solutions. WPI Inflation Rise, a small segment on that. Hostile takeovers, for example, the takeover of a company like Twitter being attempted. So we'll understand that. Foreign universities collaboration, government has eased the norms here, UGC specifically. Micro swimmers, integrated command and control centers for smart cities, calm system being deployed, asked for deployed by the defense ministry. Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan to continue in the country, and then a case study on desi food in Gadchiroli district in the country. Let's cover each of them one by one. All right, the first update is on fertilizer import and subsidy. The government says that we are not falling short of the total fertilizer that is required in this coming Kharif season. That is true. However, the fertilizer prices have still skyrocketed. Let me show this to you in this image. This is the fertilizer prices skyrocketing, not now, but a year from now, in the past. So from August 2021 to August 2020 to 2021, you would see the prices of the fertilizer products, DAP, diammonium phosphate, MOP, muriate of potash, and sulfur, ammonia, urea, all of them have risen. Yes, and since the last April 2021 itself, the prices have again skyrocketed. That means there was a continuity in prices going high, but then this has only continued with time, right? India imports a substantial level of fertilizers from countries abroad. Russia is one of the countries which provides 40% of potassic fertilizers throughout the whole world. And in this scenario, we are expecting the imports to happen to our country, yet the prices will be very high. Now, if you see in this image on the left, urea, DAP, all of this quantity of import has been written here. What we are expecting for import is 104 million metric tons, lakh metric tons. What we already have is some quantity, and what is required is this quantity, 354. That means we will have more than anticipated demand, more in stock than the anticipated demand. This is true. However, what is the most striking thing which I want to mention here is the subsidy amount that the government had to pay will rise phenomenally. Last year, the government had paid close to 1.62 lakh crore. 1.62 lakh crore as fertilizer subsidy. This includes nutrient based subsidy and urea subsidy, both of them included. 1.62 lakh crore, and government said this should be around 1 lakh crore this time. They had estimated the amount to be 1.1 lakh crore for this year, this current year that we are into right now. But, and possibly because we were thinking of diversifying the fertilizer base, organic fertilizer and green farming and entities like that. However, looking at the current trends, it looks like India will be importing and subsidizing fertilizer far more than 1.62. This will be close to 1.75 lakh crore. imagine where will this money come from? We will take loans and we will have to pay the interest as well. So just pointing out a huge deficit in fertilizer import in the country. Also, fertilizer prices in the last April, last April is this time that I am speaking of. This time, last April. But fertilizer prices in the last April also have skyrocketed. The examples of this are DAP. The rise of DAP, let me show this to you so that you are able to look at this. The prices of urea has increased 145% in the last 1 year. The prices of DAP over 66%, MOP 102%, phosphoric acid 114%, rock phosphate 77%. And this is the reason that these will be costlier imports for our country. All right. So an important update for all of us here. Now, the second update is also related to the first update, WPI rise, spike in WPI to 14.55%. This is only the second time we have seen such a huge rise in wholesale price index inflation. Now, it becomes important. This has been asked repeatedly. So, the basket of WPI, wholesale price index, and the basket of CPI, you must note that down. All right, which are the major components here? So, for example, in CPI, we have service sector also, we have food as well. All the consumer-based industries and products are in the CPI basket. However, in WPI basket, some entities like service are not there. The weightage of food items is different, right? There is a weightage for fuel as well, right? Fuel and industrial products. So, I look at possibly in pre-exam a question on what is the basket of entities in WPI, CPI, or who are the organizations which are producing the WPI data and CPI data. So Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation for CPI and Ministry of Commerce for WPI. See, very simple here. WPI is the wholesale price. Wholesale price means the price for which the price which is paid by the people who are producers. So it will be looked after by the Ministry of Commerce. All right. So producers, commerce, ministry. And for CPI, this is Ministry of Programming, Implementation and Statistics. They just keep a data tab on people and what is their consumption and what is the prices that they pay. All right. So a quick update around this. Even CPI has also exceeded 6.9% right now. WPI 14.55%. So I picked up some components, some really critical components from many articles, and I've put it here. So just want to read out what is really important. WPI growth across the three major subcategories of primary goods. Three categories are primary goods, fuel and power, and manufactured goods. All has shot up. Each of these each of them have had seen rise in the input prices. So primary goods, right? Fuel and power. We know that the cost of fuel has increased with time, and the taxation further, it has led to higher prices of fuel in the country. And manufactured good also, there is a supply side bottleneck in manufactured good, international items, domestic items, disruptions in supply chain. So this is leading to higher cost in manufactured goods, and that is why WPI has sustained over 12% for a long time. I remember having covered a feature news, I think 4 months back, and that was after seeing that the WPI is still unsustainably and sustained at 12% plus. So this is one. The second one is CPI. CPI is high because of things like food inflation. Now, food inflation is very important here because commodities, simple commodities like oil, meat, fish, cereals, vegetables, all of this are now skyrocketing. The prices are only going far above, and this is hurting. Right now, it is hurting the consumer base. But then there is also a linkage between WPI and CPI. See, RBI looks at CPI. RBI says, I have to manage the inflation for the general public. So I am not very much concerned with this data. However, now they will have to be concerned because slowly and steadily when WPI rises, if the production end there is a lot of inflation, this will now or sometime or the other be passed on to the consumer. Suppose if Tata Salt is getting prepared and there is a lot of supply side constraint because of bottlenecks, because of fuel price rise, because salt is not coming, because the labor shortage is there. So the price of Tata Salt will eventually sometime or the other increase by the organization, the company Tata, and then who will face this problem? The consumer. So right now we are seeing lesser levels of the problem with CPI. but they will be far more because they will be also induced by WPI. This is what has been said in the articles, many articles, right? Pricing power has increased in the hands of producers because the pricing power has increased in the hand of producers because WPI is only growing. They will have to increase the price so that the profit margin is at least there with them, right? So when we look at the inflation of food items, oil, we import substantial amount of food oil, right? This is one. The cereals, yes, wheat is a commodity which has been in question despite India being a country producing enormous quantities of wheat, self-sustainable on wheat, 110 million tons of wheat, yet the prices of wheat in India are rising. What is the reason? Very interesting fact this is. Now see, before getting on to wheat, let me share some important things about the reason for price rise. First of all, the input cost is rising, and one particular article spoke about formalization of industries. When many industries related to food processing, related to articles related to CPI, they started to succumb, they started to die because of COVID times. Those industries were taken by those industries in the formal setup, and slowly and steadily they began to escalate the prices. A simple example of this would be Big Basket, or people providing food entities at our home, food delivery entities. Now, if people are not able to sell this, if individual merchants are not able to sell this at some prices, the companies are taking over that kind of business, and this is leading to higher prices. All right. So eventually RBI will be looking at policy rates, cutting down the policy rate, increasing the interest rate. This is what is the speculation. Coming on to wheat prices. Very interesting. See, picked up quite a few entities from many articles about wheat prices. Let's understand this. Hello Gopal, good evening to you. Welcome back after many days. All right, wheat prices have exceeded in the country. What an interesting thing. See, so April 1, total wheat stock of FCI central pool stood at 19 million tons. Right now, April 1, this was the stock at Food Corporation of India's go downs. And what has been mandated is 7.5 millions only. So the stock is high, no? What is the issue? So the issue is this, that when we look at the CPI, when we look at the inflation indexes, there wheat has been put as two different categories. Wheat has been put in two different categories. One category is the prices of wheat, which is available through the PDS, and the second is the price of wheat which is available through open market. Open market, right? So PDS prices are restricted, we know that, but then open market prices are fluctuating and they are only increasing. This is dependent on the domestic and market prices and international market prices. So wheat, for example, if the flour wheat atta is costing 60 rupees per kilo determined by the open market, the inflation index and will be affected by the open market prices. This price, PDS price, is not getting affected, but this entity is getting affected. So this is the reason why you see CPI going high. This is the reason why we see the prices going high. But then why is it going high in India? So let's understand that part. But because India is self-sustaining, India has got excessive production of wheat. No, 7.5 million ton is what should have been the buffer stock, right? Strategic buffer. But then we still maintain 19 million tons. Why is it still that the prices are going high? So let's understand this. Last year, the stock was further high. Last year, April, the stock was 27 million tons, further higher than this year. So the thing is that last year when the stock was high, and government started to sell this in the open market, the excess of wheat in the open market, so that it could control the higher rise in prices. Last year also there were inflation, but last year there was no Russia and Ukraine conflict. See, Russia is the first largest exporter of wheat internationally, and Ukraine is the fifth largest exporter of wheat internationally. Now these two countries are in conflict and they are not able to export wheat. But then India trying to control the international, see, last year was COVID, no, last year April was COVID, second wave, the Delta variant, and it was disastrous. If you look into the editorial today that I have discussed, India, the speculated numbers are 8 times more, 6 to 8 times more than the actual numbers given by the government of India. 5 lakh death is what government states, and WHO and many other organizations say no, it is 30 to 40 lakh deaths in the country last year. So during last year, many countries which were going through a very, very disastrous situation of COVID, they started stocking food, and inflation of food items was there because of that reason. And that time the FCI said, all right, let us control the inflation, and they let us start distributing the buffer stock, and let us ensure that the price in the market is maintained. But right now, since the stock is lesser than the last year, 19 million tons only, and it has to be utilized for what? Prime Minister's Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. So they will not be putting this buffer stock or the extra stock, strategic stock in the market, so that the prices come down, and that is why the prices in the market are high. Okay, India, producer of wheat, exporter of wheat, yet the price is going high in the open market, right? Not the PDS supplies. Now, which are the countries which are exporting wheat? Bangladesh is one of the countries which has imported a lot of wheat. India, see, though we are speaking of exporting wheat, how much wheat? 7 million tons, only 7 million tons. We plan to produce around 110 million tons this time. We're exporting only 7 million tons, but even such a less export is very substantial for the world market. It is feeding, 60% of this is now gone to Bangladesh. Egypt is the world's largest importer of wheat. A lot of data I am giving, but then you don't have to note everything, but if you relate to things, you would understand a lot of it. So Egypt has also had a pact with India to import wheat from our country, right? Bangladesh has 60% of India's wheat stock. Why wheat? Because Bangladesh is a rice producing nation. No, yeah, that's why. So, and the production of wheat this year will be 10% lower than the last year. See, there are a lot of input prices also, input commodities that go into production of any entity, wheat, rice, anything. And fertilizer cost getting high. This will be one reason why the cost will be high. Multiple reasons are being offered for this falling output. One is unseasoned rain. Second is the high temperatures, unseasoned rain, the high temperatures this time, and shifting cropping pattern away from wheat. Because of all this, there will be 10% decline in the production of wheat. All right. But still we will have enough in the buffer stock. So nothing to worry on that front. What else is that, if you remember the prices of Nimbu, lemon had also have gone up. In fact, 4 Nimbus, 4 lemon, 4 lime available for 100 rupees. Right now, this is an impact of the climate change. I would like to discuss this sometime. It was in the news last week. We didn't discuss. So pending article here. We'll explain. So if lemon is affected because of climate change, if the production of mango is getting affected, production of wheat is getting affected, many such items are getting affected because of climate change. You must keep noting them. Hostile takeovers, poison pill. All right, this is about Mr. Elon Musk and Twitter. Twitter is a micro blogging platform in which only in a few letters one has to type out whatever they want to type and express their opinion to the whole world. And this social media organization, microblogging platform, is a company which has been listed in the stock exchange in America. Listed company. Now, many listed company, if the company is owned by a private entity, suppose I own XYZ company, the other person will be able to purchase my company or take over my company only if they have my permission, only if, because I am sovereign, no, about my company. But then if a company is listed and if there are many people, individual people who own very small percentages of this stock of Twitter. So if a person is wanting to take over that company, they can take over all the stocks, they can purchase all the stocks in the stock market. This will be called as a hostile takeover, where the company's board did not meet, where the company's plan of action strategy was not decided. However, the company was purchased. Mr. Musk has tried this. Yeah, he gave the offer of $43 billion. And he said, this company, Twitter, must be privatized again. It need not be listed, and they will reorient it in the right direction. This is where the company Twitter, urgently called board meetings, and it said that this hostile takeover is not good for us. And we will ensure that this becomes a little tough. See, before we discuss this, let me share, during the times when there is meltdown of the economies, right? So if you speak of the year 1999, this is the time when there was a meltdown on Southeastern tiger economies. Then the year 1929, the Great Depression. And then the year 2008, right? The real estate financial crisis. And then after that, what happened in Europe, and then the whole world. These are the times of crisis, right? And even 2018, we were speculating a thing like this, and then COVID happened. these are the times when we see immense number of mergers and acquisitions, right? Mergers, for example, today, these days only, we speak of merger of Inox and PVR. There are innumerable such mergers which have happened in the country so that the competition is reduced and the companies merge to compete and provide better services to people and engage the people in businesses, right? Now, in this journey, one such takeover has been attempted here, which is about the organization Twitter. So the organization Twitter says that since we do not want to take over like this, we will change some of the policies and norms. So what they have done is that they said, if an individual entity acquires more than 15% of the stakes of this organization, if they try to acquire this, then the people, the promoters or the people who own the shares, a good number of shares, they will put it in the market. They will sell it in the open market so that people own these shares. And since people will start purchasing these shares, there will be rise in prices. Yes, they will be sold at discount. There will be rising prices, and therefore the complete valuation of the company will rise, right? So the prices at which Mr. Musk will further have to acquire the majority stakes in the company, that will exceed. So this will be like an inhibitor to such a purchase, right? Because then he will not have to spend 43, he might have to spend 55 or 60 billion dollars. So this was the Twitter's plan to save the company: purchase additional shares at a discounted rate, making it difficult for the acquirer to establish a majority stake in the company. So what are the advantages of such a thing? So this is what is called as a poison pill. Poison pill matlab, you know, it's like a medicine, but it's a poison, right? So there are various ways in which this can be avoided, a hostile takeover. The advantages are saving the company against such a takeover. Interest of the minority, people who own lesser number of shares, they will be saved, their say will be there. They might be open for better prospects. Suppose if Mr. Musk is there, tomorrow Mr. Bezos will be there with $80 billion. The stakeholders will have time to make decisions, and it will help the acquisition to slow down and then stakeholders to think over it, right? So there are various ways in which this can be done. One of the ways is the green mail way. So green mail, the company repurchases the stocks in the market at a premium, at a higher price. It repurchases the stock with individual people and owns all these stocks. So this is how company says that I am the owner, I will have more stocks. Now let's see how you can purchase from the market. So this is one. This is called as the green mail option. The second is spin off the crown jewel. This means that if the company had 5 different organizations, 5 subset organizations, the most important revenue generating popular organization, the crown, the jewel of the crown, that will be created into a separate company or sold off. So this will not make the takeover very attractive. This is second way. The third one is Pac-Man defense. Pac-Man, if you've played that game, I have played this game. So this is the Pac-Man, and in Pac-Man defense, the company which has given the offer of purchasing the company, that company itself will be purchased. So Mr. Musk's companies, whatever they are, they will be purchased by Twitter itself. The opposite will happen. And white knight defense is the defense in which even if the takeover is happening, it's fine, but the terms and conditions will be nominal. So this is something about hostile takeovers happening around the world. International collaborations in education. All right, the UGC has now declared that international collaboration is justified, it will happen, and it has laid down certain norms and said that the government or the UGC itself will not be interfering in the exchange programs between the various organizations in India and abroad. It has said that there are 3 kinds of programs that they're looking at: joint degree programs, dual degree programs, and twining programs. These programs will have certain number of credits for the students. A certain proportion of the program can be carried out abroad, and the people can come back to India and do the program, and then university will later grant them or award them the certificate for having completed the program. So for example, if the student wants to do a twining program, twining means mix and match. So student can do a part of the program in our country and then a part of program abroad. The credits that they gain, they will be given those credits and they can come back to India. What is important is that the government will not interfere and the student will not have to take special permission to come back to India or to go back or to go to the other country, right? So under the joining arrangement, a student can study program partly in India and partly in a foreign university. Who will grant the degree? Indian university. In joint degree means two organizations and they will be taking part in providing the degree, and some part of the course will be conducted in the other country and some part in this country. Now you would ask, what is the difference between twining and joint degree? In joint degree, some of the parts will be taken up by the foreign universities, it is said. But in twining, both the programs might be running in both the countries. The student is free to opt a particular choice of those subjects abroad, choice of subjects in the country. In joint degree, the curriculum is designed jointly with the collaborating institutions, right? And here, simply, and so for dual degrees, the student will have to complete at least 30% of their course credit at foreign universities. So suppose a student wants to study physics and history, both of them, a joint degree, a dual degree will be allotted, will be given to them, right? This is it. And so lesser interferences from the government, this is one for the student work. Second, the educational institution which has once qualified to become an institution which can partner with an institution abroad, after that there will be lesser permissions required for them. They can simply collaborate. Now this is applicable only for the programs in which student actually go and study abroad, not for the online and open learning programs. All right. So organizations which are a part of National Institutional Ranking Foundation framework, Niti Aayog's framework for educational institutions which are in the top 100 organizations, for example IIMs, IITs, they can be the ones which can participate in this. So they are good organizations in India and they are good organizations around the whole world. And top 1000 of such universities around the world which are a part of Times Higher Education or QS World Universities, they can partner with Indian universities. So good program. What is it going to do? It is going to spur good innovative level of education in the country. We have covered the side effects of this as well, right? So side effect of a university initiating its own subset in India are, they've complained that the capitalistic economy is not able to prosper in a country like India. Why? Because government regulates the cost of education here. So this is when the company completely sets up a base in India. But then if we have a system in which two organizations work with each other and they share the best practices, India learns, student also learns, and this also motivates spendings. When the student is going abroad, when the student is a come back, they're spending the real money by doing this. So this is also spurring more investments, more expenditure, and this is good for economy, right? So win-win for everybody. International collaborations in education, and this is by UGC. Micro swimmers, it was there in the Hindu last week's Sunday. Sunday is the day when they put science and tech page as well. So micro swimmers are micro bots, right? Robots, and these bots are a compound which is of carbon nitride. And what do they do is that when signaled with the help of light, when signaled by changing the pH solution, they become the ones that can carry instructions from one place to another, instruction entities, chemicals from one place to another in the blood. So that is how they are called as micro swimmers. So being researched upon, providing health for the body. Integrated command and control centers. This is a part of case study I had done on one of the projects. Education project itself. Pimpri-Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, during the times of COVID, it had an amazing system of integrated command and control center. This is the image. This is the image of Pimpri-Chinchwad Command and Control Center. So this was a setup where the municipal corporation allied with police, allied with civil society, allied with the district administration, all of them, and they set up a facility with the hospitals as well. So hospitals, district administration, the DM, then police, right, and various other services. So services like fast moving consumer goods, right, and civil society, CSOs, all of them, and they would integrate all of them to provide services to all the people. So if a particular area has been earmarked as a red zone for COVID, no-go zone, then services will be provided there. It will be cordoned off. If the area is an area where a lot of congregation of people is happening, it would be viewed on the CCTV cameras, and further police will be sent. If an area requires more ambulance service, all will be administered, and this all will be available in terms of digital data. This is called as integrated command, control and command center. Imagine the benefits of this, right? And the same place, since your municipal corporation, it was later or during the same time, it was hacked also by the hackers. So now the government says that in all the 100 smart cities, we would want to have integrated command and control center, right? They will be administering, now leave apart the COVID times, now they will be administering the movement of people, the housing facilities, presence of water, transportation, where are the hospitals located, how far are the schools, all of them will be integrated to each other, and the management of population, all of them will be done. So this not only becomes an update for you, this also becomes a very good case for you of how cities should be administered, right? So lesser of government, more of governance through this. And then further, government could give this data to the private sector, and they could initiate various services for the people. Absolutely. Now, in case you have questions, please put it down. I will look at them towards the end of the segment. The next important term in news is Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. It has been continued. The scheme has been continued. This is about local governance, having better Gram Swaraj, better local governance in the grams, right? So how many villages do we have? How many gram panchayats we have in the country? We have 2.5 lakh gram panchayats, and we have around 7 lakh villages in the country. Villages could be small or large in size. So approximately 3 villages combined to form 1 gram panchayat. Sarpanch, the 5 panch, the elections at the gram panchayat level, and so this is the grassroots, the most fundamental unit of administration for rural India, right? So this is where the scheme is going to run. Gram Swaraj Abhiyan, right? Self-governance of the villages. For this, the government says that some contract level employment will be required to administer the programs that are happening in the gram level, in the village level. So this is one thing that they want to do, and they want to ensure that sanitation be provided, drinking water be provided. So Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, rural electrification, along with that the provision of livelihood to people in villages, ICDS programs, adult literacy programs, the programs for provision of credit to the micro, small, medium industries on all those areas. So all of them linking to sustainable development goals, they should be provided. So government has continued the corpus, 5,000 rupees crore rupees around to the nation, and this is how they will be supervising the programs, in a way integrating the programs in the Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. The next is CALM system, called as Canister, launched anti-armor loiter ammunition. So Canister launch. Canister is the cover. Canister, you see the cover here. Canister launch anti-armor loiter ammunition systems, munition systems. So what does it do? So this loiters around in the sky above. It's just like a drone. It loiters around for a while. It has a camera in front of it, and when the time is right, it will strike the target, the enemy or whatever it is. So this is how it will not only monitor the situation, this will also be temperature managed. That means if it is a colder place, it will be meant for that. If it is a hotter place, it will be meant for that as well. It will be operating at various different altitudes, different places in the country. India has raised, it's just like a tender that India has raised with the countries. If anybody who wants to create this in India, make in India, please come over, let's do a pact, and let's start the CALM system project. All right. Today's case study is of addressing malnutrition, and this is the Gadchiroli district that is in the image right now. One of the districts which has been affected by left-wing extremism in Maharashtra. This district started a scheme in which they understood that the malnutrition in children was high, and they started to understand what are the local food that children eat. So 8 nutrient-dense Maharashtrian meals they were prepared. So nutrient-rich Maharashtrian meals which would be composed of khichdi. Who eats khichdi? Vegetable khichdi, right? But I'm saying people eat khichdi. I'm asking you, who eats khichdi amongst you, right? Peanut cutlet, paratha, sprout cutlet, all of this were prepared. 8 kind of meals were prepared, and village administration was funding all this project. In fact, the district administration also was giving 100 rupees per child, 100 rupees per child for this project. And imagine what happened as a result. As a result, the nutrition of almost half the children, the nutrition level became very good because of the project like this. So addressing malnutrition through Desi programs. What an amazing way to go ahead. Gadchiroli district from Maharashtra. This is where we come to the conclusion of the current affairs discussion. We will quickly meet in the next discussion, that is on today's feature news, that is on the denotified tribes of the country. Let's see if there are questions here. PCMC created India's first social impact bonds. Oh, great. And even Pune Municipal Corporation, Mumbai's Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, all of them have raised bonds. So when a municipal corporation wants to become profitable, when it is doing good work, when it knows that it can refund people money and take loans from people, just like the state government can do, the district government has also started to do this. So this is a great way ahead for these districts which are doing well, right? So you guys eat khichdi, as even I do. I love to eat khichdi. All right. So questions for offline viewers, please put it down in the comment section and I will get back to you. And rest everybody else, please join in the other video for the feature news. Thank you for participating. Good evening.